Hello. Thank you for joining me for another session here at Aspire 850 Consulting Group. Today, we want to talk about making a plan for your money. A lot of times we jump into business and we don't really plan ahead. We know the ideas that we have and we start working on those ideas, and we know the type of people we want to work with, or we learn the type of people we want to work with, and we know how much money we want to make, right? But what about making a plan for the money that's going to come? Or making a plan for the money that we have. We know the things we need to buy. We know the things we want to buy, but really making a plan for that money and really thinking through that process of what that should look like or how our money should flow, right? So before starting any project, whether it's a business, a home, or even a lifestyle change, you have to count the cost. See, money planning is about asking, what do I need first? What will it take? What sacrifices are required? And a lot of times in business, we go, 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 but we really need to be thinking about those things. And then you want to know whether or not you're avoiding the impulse living. See, a plan protects you from emotional and impulsive spending. And when you don't have a plan, every emergency feels bigger than what it is, and opportunities slip through your hands. So you may hear somebody say, oh, well, if you don't buy it today, it won't be available tomorrow. Is that really an emergency? Like, it feels like urgency, and they've done a great job of pulling on your heartstrings, but it's not exactly an emergency. So having a plan protects you from those impulsive decisions and letting you kind of step back and say, hey, does this align with where I want this money to go and how I want this money to move? See, in business, we also want to make sure we're doing stewardship and not just spending, because God calls us to be stewards or managers of what He gives us. So planning helps us maximize resources, saving, investing, and giving intentionally instead of randomly. And then last point, saving helps us prepare for the future. So planning gives a peace of mind for unexpected life events. Now, you're not just planning for yourself, but for your family, your legacy, and kingdom work. Because whenever you started this business, you already had in mind all the people you wanted to bless, all the people you wanted to help reach out to. You know, those people were in your mind. And so without a plan for your money, you will never get to the point of being able to help those people. And so I want to remind you that planning is a biblical principle. God Himself is a God of order and not confusion. And we find that in 1 Corinthians 14:40. And without a plan, money tends to disappear without accountability. And financial planning isn't just budgeting, right? So we think of a budget as like, oh, I have this much money and I can go spend this much money. No. When you are planning your money or doing financial planning, it's aligning your money with your values and your vision. If your money is not doing its job, then your plan needs to be reevaluated. Yes, you heard that correctly. Your money has a job. Your money has to make you even more money. So it is imperative that you plan. So I want to leave you with two different scriptures. The first one is Luke 14:28-30, and I'm reading from English Standard Version, and it says, for which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. And that applies to both men and women. I know the text says men, but it applies to both. And I also want to leave you with Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Thank you so much for joining us for this moment in time with Aspire 850, and we look forward to seeing you next time.